Let me tell you something most people will never understand. Privacy isn't about secrecy. It's about power. The moment you start putting every piece of your life on display, you're not sharing your truth. You're giving away your control. Because the world doesn't always clap for your success. Sometimes it studies it, then plots how to take it from you. So today, I'm going to tell you why keeping your life private isn't just wise. It's essential. Let me tell you something that most people never truly understand. Privacy isn't secrecy, it's strategy. It's not about hiding who you are, it's about protecting who you're becoming. In a world that thrives on exposure, where everyone rushes to share, post, prove, and announce, the rarest form of strength is restraint. People think if they're not seen, they're not succeeding. But that's where they're wrong. The more you keep private, the more you control the narrative. You can't be misunderstood if you haven't said a word. You can't be misused if you haven't revealed your cards. The truth is, not everyone deserves front row seats to your life. Some people only come to watch, not to support. Some come to take notes, not to cheer. When you make your life an open book, don't be surprised when people start editing your story. You have to understand that access is a privilege, not a right. You don't owe the world every detail about what you're doing, where you're going, or who you're with. The people who are meant for you will respect your silence just as much as your presence. Think about it. How many times have you shared something out of excitement, only to feel that subtle shift when someone's energy changes? That smile that doesn't reach their eyes, that question that sounds supportive but carries a tone of doubt. Not everyone is clapping because they're happy for you. Some are clapping just to count how high you rise before they whisper how far you might fall. When you limit access, you filter intentions. You make people earn the right to know your truth. That's not arrogance. That's awareness. The danger of being too visible is that you invite voices that were never meant to guide you. When everyone knows your next move, they start to have opinions about it. They start to project their fears onto your vision, their insecurities onto your path. You begin to question yourself, not because you're wrong, but because you're surrounded by too much noise. Silence protects clarity. The fewer people who know your plans, the less interference you'll face. People can't ruin what they don't understand, and they can't attack what they can't see. Sometimes, the smartest move you can make is to disappear while you're working. Let them think you're quiet. Let them think you're still. And then, one day, you reappear. Not with explanations, but with results that speak louder than any announcement ever could. And let's be honest, there's something magnetic about mystery. People are drawn to what they can't fully read. The less you reveal, the more they wonder. And in that wonder lies power. You don't have to prove yourself with constant updates. You don't have to justify your progress with public validation. The loudest person in the room rarely holds the real influence. It's the one who listens, observes, and moves strategically that holds the strings. When you're selective about what you share, you create an aura that demands respect. You control perception instead of being controlled by it. You stop performing for approval and start living for peace. There will always be those who think privacy equals loneliness. They'll say you've changed, that you've become distant or cold. But the truth is, you've simply become focused. You've learned that every conversation doesn't need your opinion. Every invitation doesn't need your presence. And every moment doesn't need to be documented. The more you grow, the quieter you'll become. Not because you have less to say, but because you finally understand that not everything needs to be said. Privacy gives you back your time, your mind, and your energy. You stop seeking permission and start building in peace. You start protecting the very thing that makes you powerful. Your focus. So don't apologize for being private. Don't feel guilty for moving silently. Privacy doesn't mean you're disconnected. It means you're discerning. You're no longer living to be seen. You're living to be fulfilled. Because when your circle gets smaller, your vision gets clearer. And when your life becomes more private, your spirit becomes more powerful. The fewer opinions you entertain, the faster you evolve. Protect your plans, your dreams, your relationships, your peace. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Some are only there to steal your recipe. Keep your life private, not because you're hiding, but because you're healing. Not because you're afraid, but because you're aware. The less the world knows, the safer your magic grows. And the ones who truly matter, they'll never need proof. They'll just feel your power. Thus, when no one knows what you're building, they can't break it. It's as simple and as powerful as that. The world loves to celebrate the outcome, but it rarely understands the process. The blood, the heartbreak, the sleepless nights that come before the applause. When your journey is public, every step becomes a performance. You start to worry more about how things look than how they feel. You start building for approval instead of purpose. But when you keep your progress private, you create a sacred space for real growth. You don't owe explanations, you owe yourself commitment. Your private battles, your private sacrifices, your private grind. Those are the roots of your success. And roots don't grow in the spotlight, they grow underground, where no one can trample them. Growth in silence is power in its purest form. The moment you stop announcing every dream, you start nurturing it. You give it oxygen to breathe, time to evolve, and strength to take shape. When you share too soon, you invite energy that might not align with your vision. People project their own limits onto you. They tell you what can't be done, not because it's impossible, but because they couldn't do it. And slowly, you start to absorb that doubt. You start dimming your fire to make others comfortable. But when you stay quiet, no one can contaminate your energy. Your vision stays pure, your focus stays sharp, and your momentum stays yours. Silence doesn't mean you're doing nothing. It means you're doing everything that matters, away from distractions. And let's be real, success is not born in public applause. It's born in the unseen hours, when you're questioning yourself, when you're ready to quit, but keep going anyway. That's where the transformation happens. The late nights where your eyes burn from exhaustion. The mornings where you rise before the world does. The days where it feels like no one believes in you but you. Those moments build resilience, confidence, and discipline. Traits that can't be learned from likes or comments. When people finally see your success, they'll call it sudden. But you'll know the truth. It wasn't sudden. It was silent. It was intentional. It was earned. There's also a peace that comes with privacy. A peace that no audience can give you. When you're not performing for the world, you get to focus on the craft itself. You make mistakes freely. You grow authentically. You fall and rise without judgment. You're not chasing perfection. You're chasing progress. That's the beauty of private growth. It's messy, it's raw, it's real. And that's why it lasts. Because when you've built something away from the spotlight, you've built it strong enough to survive the spotlight. You won't need validation because your confidence comes from what you know, not what others think. It's important to understand that not everything needs to be shared to be successful. Some of your best moments will never be posted. Some of your greatest victories will only be felt in your soul. That's okay. You're not missing out. You're protecting what matters. Privacy gives you the room to be proud without being performative. To celebrate quietly without seeking applause. It's a form of discipline, of maturity. You learn to separate your worth from visibility. You stop measuring your life in public approval and start measuring it in inner peace. The more private your path, the more sacred your progress becomes. So stop announcing your every move. Stop broadcasting your beginnings. Let the world see only the finished product, not the work in progress. Protect your process like it's a secret recipe. Because it is. It's yours. You've earned the right to grow quietly, to fall privately, to rise powerfully. Remember, you owe the world your results, not your roadmap. Keep your head down. Keep your faith high. Let your success be the loudest thing about you. Because this truth is this: when you grow in silence, no one can interrupt your transformation. When you build in private, no one can dismantle your foundation. And when you finally rise, the world won't see how you did it. They'll only see that you did. That's the power of privacy. That's the strength of silence. And that's how you win, not loudly, but completely. People will always talk. It's what they do. They'll form opinions about your life based on fragments they barely understand. They'll assume, twist, exaggerate, and fill in the blanks with stories that make sense to them. But here's the truth. You don't owe anyone clarity. You don't need to correct their assumptions or defend your silence. Because silence doesn't mean you're lost. It means you're focused. When you choose silence, you're not surrendering, you're taking back control. Every word you don't say becomes a shield. Every truth you hold close becomes protection. Let people talk while you move. Let them guess while you grow. Because the moment you stop explaining yourself, you stop giving others permission to define you. Silence is not weakness. Silence is wisdom. The loudest people are often the most insecure, trying to drown their uncertainty in noise. But those who understand power know that restraint speaks volumes. When you hold your peace, you hold your position. You're not giving away your emotions for others to dissect. You're not giving away your plans for others to predict. You're teaching the world that your life is not a discussion. It's a declaration. The strongest individuals don't need to announce every move. They simply let their results echo louder than words ever could. When you master silence, you master yourself. Because silence isn't empty. It's full of energy, intent, and focus. There's something deeply unsettling to people about someone who refuses to explain. They can't stand mystery. They crave access, control, and certainty. When you go quiet, they start creating their own stories just to fill the void you've left. Let them. Their imagination is their entertainment, not your burden. The less you say, the more they wonder. The less you reveal, the more they speculate. And that speculation creates an aura, an energy that says, "You can't read me." And when people can't read you, they can't predict you. When they can't predict you, they can't control you. That's power. Real, untouchable power. Your silence unsettles the insecure and intrigues the confident. Either way, you win. Sometimes silence is the most strategic move you can make. It's the pause before impact, the calm before the revelation. While others are busy broadcasting every thought, you're analyzing, aligning, and adjusting. You're building momentum without distraction. You're observing who talks too much and who listens too little. Silence gives you perspective. You start seeing the truth behind people's intentions. The ones who want to understand you versus the ones who just want to know your next step. You realize that not everyone asking questions deserves answers. Some people only want information so they can measure their progress against yours. So you stay quiet. You stop feeding curiosity and start feeding your own growth. There's also peace in silence, real, liberating peace. When you stop arguing, stop proving, stop defending, you reclaim your mental space. You don't owe explanations to those committed to misunderstanding you. You don't need to speak just to fill silence that others are uncomfortable with. You start finding comfort in your own company. You realize that not every opinion needs a reaction. Not every attack needs a response. And not every situation deserves your energy. The more you practice silence, the more you begin to hear yourself. You start listening to your instincts instead of the noise. You begin to trust your timing, your purpose, your path. Silence becomes your sanctuary. So don't underestimate the power of quiet. Don't mistake it for invisibility. It's your armor, your discipline, your edge. In a world addicted to oversharing, silence is rebellion, it's strength, it's freedom. When you choose to be silent, you're not disappearing, you're evolving. You're no longer performing for approval, you're preserving your peace. You're no longer trying to be understood, you're focused on understanding yourself. Let them talk, let them guess, let them wonder. Because while they waste their breath trying to figure you out, you're using yours to breathe life into your dreams. And when you finally speak, it won't be noise, it'll be history. That's the power of silence. That's the confidence of mystery. And that's how you turn quiet into dominance. Sever energy is currency. Every word you speak Every secret you share, every emotion you reveal, costs you something. Most people don't even realize they're bankrupting themselves emotionally by giving too much of their energy away to people who haven't earned it. They talk about their dreams to those who secretly doubt them. They explain their decisions to those who never understand. They share their pain with people who only listen out of curiosity. You must learn this: your energy is sacred. You can't just spend it on anyone who asks. Protecting it isn't selfish. It's survival. You can recover money, time, even opportunities. But once your energy is gone, it takes a piece of you with it. That's why privacy matters. That's why silence is powerful. It keeps your energy where it belongs, with you. Every time you post your plans, explain your emotions, or justify your choices, you're giving a part of your power away. You think you're sharing, but often you're leaking. Every conversation isn't worth your time, and every listener isn't worthy of your truth. People can only meet you as deeply as they've met themselves. So don't be surprised when your vulnerability is met with confusion or judgment. You don't owe people your process. You don't need to prove your progress. The more you talk, the more access you give to people who haven't earned the right to witness your becoming. Learn to be still. Learn to protect your inner world. When you stop broadcasting your energy, you start building it. You stop seeking validation, and you start finding power. The truth is, not everyone clapping for you is celebrating you. Some are clapping to keep rhythm with your downfall. When you expose too much of yourself, your goals, your relationships, your emotions, you open doors for doubt, envy, and sabotage to walk in. People can't attack what they don't know. That's why the most powerful individuals move quietly. They don't announce their steps. They let their footsteps speak for themselves. They understand that energy flows where attention goes, and not every part of their life deserves that spotlight. Some things are meant to grow in peace, not in public. Energy thrives in stillness. The more you protect your peace, the stronger your purpose becomes. Think of your energy like a garden. If you keep letting everyone walk through it, they'll trample on the flowers you've worked so hard to grow. Some will admire the beauty, yes, but others will pick what they want and leave destruction behind. Guard your garden. Be intentional about who you let in, what you share, and where you invest your light. Not everyone deserves your time, your trust, or your truth. Protecting your energy means setting boundaries that don't need explanations. It means saying no without guilt, walking away without drama, and choosing solitude over noise. When you master your energy, you stop chasing connection and start attracting alignment. You'll know you've grown when peace becomes more valuable than attention. When you no longer crave to be understood, but to be centered. Protecting your energy means choosing yourself, even when it disappoints others. It's saying, I'm not available for chaos today. It's understanding that every conversation isn't an opportunity. It's a transaction. And some transactions cost too much. You can't heal, grow, or thrive in spaces that drain you. Protecting your energy doesn't mean you're cold. It means you're conscious. You've learned that your emotional availability is a privilege, not a right. And the ones meant for you will never need to drain you to feel your presence. So, guard your spirit like it's gold, because it is. Be selective. Be intentional. Don't waste your energy on explaining, proving, or pleasing. Save it for the things that build you, for the people who pour into you, for the purpose that drives you. The more you protect your energy, the more unstoppable you become. Because when you protect your energy, you protect your destiny. You stop being reactive and start being radiant. You stop being drained and start being divine. Your energy shapes your world, so don't let the wrong people spend it. Invest it where it multiplies, not where it disappears. That's not selfishness, that's self-respect. And self-respect is the highest form of power. Peace loves privacy. It thrives in spaces untouched by judgment, noise, and validation. The quieter your life becomes, the louder your peace speaks. The truth is, chaos isn't always external. It often comes from the pressure to be seen, to prove, to perform. We live in a world that glorifies visibility, where every moment must be captured and shared to feel real. But peace doesn't need an audience. It needs space. It needs stillness. It needs you, the ones who move quietly, who protect their inner world, who don't explain every step. Those are the people who truly sleep well at night. When you stop performing for attention, you start living for alignment. And alignment brings a peace that fame could never buy. Real peace is not the absence of problems. It's the presence of balance. It's not about living a perfect life. It's about learning to stay calm while everything around you shifts. And that balance comes when you stop chasing noise. Every opinion, every reaction, every piece of gossip you engage in pulls you further away from yourself. Peace comes when you let go, when you stop trying to be understood by everyone, when you stop fighting battles that don't serve your growth. Not everything needs your reaction. Not every insult needs your defense. When you begin to choose silence over conflict, maturity over chaos, and solitude over superficial validation, that's when you start to understand what peace really means. Privacy and peace walk hand in hand. The less people know about your personal life, the more control you have over it. Think about it. How often have you shared something pure, only to feel it lose its power once it became public? The moment you let too many eyes on your peace, it starts to shrink. People bring opinions, projections, and energies that don't belong in your sacred space. Protect your peace like it's oxygen. You don't owe the world access to your healing, your joy, or your love. The most peaceful relationships are the ones that exist quietly. The strongest goals are the ones built silently. The happiest souls are the ones who don't need to prove how happy they are. Keep your peace sacred and watch your power multiply. Sometimes the greatest strength is in what you don't respond to. You'll find peace the moment you realize that silence is not defeat, it's discipline. Walking away doesn't mean you're weak. It means you've mastered self-control. You no longer let external energy dictate your internal temperature. You no longer hand over your peace in exchange for proving a point. The more you evolve, the less you crave confrontation. You stop needing closure, validation, or revenge. You start choosing peace, not because it's easy, but because it's expensive, and you refuse to spend it on nonsense. Your peace becomes your boundary. Your calm becomes your weapon. Peace is not loud. It doesn't need to announce itself. It's found in the small, ordinary moments. The morning coffee before the world wakes up, the quiet drive with no music, the deep breath that centers you when life feels heavy. It's in the ability to smile even when no one's watching. It's in gratitude, acceptance, and stillness. Peace is choosing yourself without guilt. It's saying no without apology. It's being content without comparison. When you understand that peace is a personal choice, not a circumstance, everything changes. You realize that no one can give it to you, and no one can take it away. It's yours to protect, yours to nurture, yours to keep. So guard your peace like your life depends on it. Because it does. Protect it from overthinking, overgiving, and overexposing. Let go of people who thrive on chaos, who drain your calm, who confuse drama for connection. Choose a quiet life, not a loud existence. Choose depth, not attention. Choose meaning, not noise. Assist. Because peace is the ultimate flex. It's the quiet glow that can't be faked, the calm that can't be disturbed, the power that can't be touched. Keep your life private, keep your peace protected, and watch how unstoppable you become. The loud chase attention. The lies chase alignment. And alignment, my friend, is where your real freedom lives. Seeds don't grow in the spotlight, they grow in the dark. They need stillness, protection, and time before they can push through the soil and meet the sun. Your dreams work the same way. They need silence. They need patience. They need to be nurtured away from the noise of the world. When you plant an idea, the worst thing you can do is expose it too early to people who don't understand its potential. Because not everyone will see what you see. Some will water your dream, but many will crush it under the weight of their doubt. When you protect your vision in its infancy, you give it a chance to grow strong enough to survive the storms that are sure to come. Everything powerful begins unseen. Every empire, every revolution, every transformation, your greatness is no different. Growth doesn't need an audience. It needs commitment. The most successful people, didn't build their legacy in front of the world. They built it in silence. While no one was watching. They worked while others talked. They sacrificed while others sought attention. That's what it means to grow in the dark. To have faith in your process when no one else does. To wake up every day, quietly doing the work, trusting that one day, the results will speak for themselves. You don't need to announce every step you take. You don't need to prove that you're progressing. Let your progress be private, and let your success be undeniable. When it's real, it doesn't need to be advertised. The world doesn't need to know your every move. What it needs is to see your transformation when the time is right. The truth is, darkness is not your enemy. It's your training ground. It's where strength is built, where character is tested, where resilience is formed. Everyone loves the shine, but few are willing to face the shadows that shape it. The dark moments in your life, the confusion, the setbacks, the heartbreaks, are not punishments, they're preparation. They teach you patience, discipline, and humility. They strip away your illusions so you can meet your real self. When you learn to embrace that darkness, instead of running from it, you realize it's not there to break you, it's there to build you. Every challenge, every delay, every closed door is shaping your foundation for something greater. The dark doesn't destroy you, it defines you. And when you finally rise, when your work starts to bloom, when your name starts to travel, you'll know it wasn't luck. It was labor. It was faith. It was all those quiet nights where you showed up for yourself even when no one was watching. Success built in silence carries a different kind of power. It's rooted, unshakable, and real. People will look at you and call it sudden, but you'll know it took years of unseen effort. The applause may be new, but the work isn't. And that's the beauty of keeping your life private. You never have to fake it. You never have to rush it. You simply let your results speak in a voice louder than any explanation ever could. Privacy doesn't mean isolation. It means incubation. Just like a seed needs soil, your purpose needs privacy to form. You can't rush what's sacred. You can't rush what's meant for you. When you protect your dreams, you protect your peace. You stop seeking validation and start trusting timing. You begin to understand that the universe rewards quiet confidence, not loud desperation. The things meant for you will find you. Not because you shouted the loudest, but because you stayed grounded, focused, and faithful. The world glorifies exposure, but exposure without preparation leads to collapse. Privacy gives you time to prepare, to grow roots deep enough to handle the weight of the life you're building. So stop rushing to prove, to post, to announce. Let your power grow in silence. The tree that stands tall today once hid beneath the soil, unseen, uncelebrated, but it never stopped growing. Neither should you. Let the darkness do its work. Let the process shape you. Because when it's time, your bloom will be impossible to ignore. The same people who doubted your silence will be silenced by your success. Because privacy isn't isolation, it's transformation. The dark isn't your downfall, it's your development. And when you rise so high that they'll realize your silence was never weakness. It was strategy. Protect your dreams. Nurture your growth. Trust the dark. Because one day, that very darkness will reveal the light that was always yours. As